Welcome to my video. Today I am talking about Stranger Things. The new Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 5 has finally released, and when I say finally, I mean finally, because it's been over 3 years, like 3.5 years. I've obviously forgotten everything that happened in Season 4. Actually no, Season 4 was pretty memorable. I feel like I've forgotten more about the seasons before that. Well, obviously not 1. Partially 1 too. But anyways, I have a couple of complaints to make, but I'm not going to be talking about the plot today. If you want a video complaining about the plot, you can watch Moist Critical's video on it, Penguinzo, I don't know. You could watch his video. He actually had a really good video about it. I just have a couple of complaints that should be spoiler free. They should be. I have a few spoilers, but it's like the same amount of spoilers as the trailer has. I would say it's really not that deep spoilers. And yeah, let me get right into it. One of my main problems is that just like in Season 4, I had the same problem with Season 4, is there's so many characters that like the first episode, it took the first 40 minutes for all our main characters to be introduced. And that's not because they were waiting for some reveal for the one character. No, they were trying to show as many characters as possible. We just have that many characters in that many different places that it takes them 40 minutes to show everyone. Just like in the last episode, there's so many storylines going on at the same time, just like in Season 4, that one of the main, like really important storylines too, isn't even showcased in the last 40 minutes of this Volume 1, because there's just so much going on at the same time, and really it's also just hard to remember every storyline, and for them to not even put episode recaps between the episodes. Now me personally, I obviously watched the whole thing in 2 days, so I wouldn't have really needed that. But I don't really like Netflix just assuming that you're just gonna be binging everything and you don't need episode recaps. Back in the day, I know they didn't really have episode recaps, but that's because series weren't like stacking up on top of each other. Every episode was like a new story. Now, with these storylines where you really need a reminder of what is going on, you just need an episode recap. And I think the reason that they're assuming that you don't need an episode recap is because every episode ends on basically a cliffhanger. They're just assuming that you're gonna watch everything in one sitting, which I can understand, and probably a lot of people did, but like, we also have better stuff to do than do that. Well, I mean, I clearly didn't. Another thing that really bothered me was the dialogue just seems so fake. I feel like the dialogue and the script could have partially been written by AI, because it's just such movie dialogue. It's like so stereotypical movie. It's like you go to AI and tell them, hey, write me a movie scene of, or write me a Stranger Things scene, blah blah blah, and then it just turns into that. One thing that really stuck in my mind is they're trying to convince one character of doing this and this, and then they're saying blah blah blah, and the character's like, you have 1 minute of time to convince me of doing what you're telling me to do, and then they blah blah blah, and they're like, your time's up, I'm not convinced. And then they go tell the real reason, but actually this is the actual reason why we want you to do this. And then the character's like, well, why didn't you start with that? And it's like, seriously, why didn't you start with that? Why are you trying to convince her with like bad arguments when you that's just such a movie thing to do, so cliche. And then I have this one clip straight out of like the cliche handbook of movies. I'll just go play it real quick.
You should really keep a better eye on your pets, Henderson.
It's dangerous out there. Shouldn't be left alone like that. Hey there, freak. Long time no see.
Hiya.
Exactly. And that Haya is so funny. I don't know. I mean, I think it's hilarious. And then Dustin is like, I just find it funny that blah 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 blah. What? This is just such. And there's one scene where a character reveals something, and then the other character's like, I don't, I don't understand. Like, that's not how a person talks. You would say, what? What are you talking about? You lied to me or something? I don't understand what you're what do you mean? How could this be? What is happening? This is not real life. This is a series. I don't know. It just kind of takes me out of the feeling of a series. Now, there are some characters that really just nail the dialogue, that nail the deliveries. Shout out to Robin. Shout out to Murray. Real shout out to Holly, the 10-year-old girl or whatever. She's like that. She's doing a really good job. She's doing a better job than some other people are. I think Hopper does a pretty good job. The rest, so. It's all right. Some of them are just really bad. Like sometimes when they're saying, "Wow," and then we'll do this and kill Vecna, and then the camera zooms in on them and whatever. It's just like, God, it's just so Netflix and so fake. Do you know what I mean? Kind of bothers me. Next point is the whole look and feel of the whole series, or the whole 4 episodes that we got. It just feels so fake. This is just set 1 year after the last season. It's been 3 years. All these actors are like 22 or something like that, and they're playing 16-year-olds still. And in some scenes, I feel like I can see the makeup in their face. Erica does not look like 13 or however old she's supposed to be. I don't know. Couldn't they have just said, yo, 4 years have passed or whatever, and now everyone's older, and that's why everyone looks older, instead of just saying, we'll just put even more makeup on them. And I was watching this on a bad TV. I realized, like, I didn't like how it looked, and then I looked at it on my laptop again, and I thought, actually, it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty good, but then there's scenes that just don't. Everything just kind of looks beige-ish. Everything just looks blue in the night scenes. Everything just looks kind of green sometimes, and it looks pretty, but it also just feels I feel like they could have done a better job with that. And then there's just some color correction shots that are just pretty inconsistent, and this is just nitpicking, just bothers me a little bit, but whatever. And now there's a couple of scenes where you just can tell this is separated. Like, there's this one really bad scene in episode 1 where the green screen is just so visible. Or there's multiple scenes even, but this one specifically that I'm showing right now, really bad. So bad. I feel like my head is exploding. Like, you can literally see the green in their hair in some shots. It's crazy. And for a budget of $50 million per episode, that really just can't be, I don't know. And there's this one too. It's just a little, it feels detached. It doesn't feel like the person is really there. Like, as you can tell, I do like Stranger Things, and like the last episode really had me hyped, or like had me excited, and like some crazy stuff happened, and I was like, oh my god. But it doesn't feel like it used to for whatever reason. I feel like Stranger Things used to feel more real, more tangible, and now it just feels like another Netflix series. Also got so much more brutal for some reason. Also, just like Squid Game season 2, I feel like Netflix just gave them permission to do whatever, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna make this really graphic. I mean, it's not that bad. Like, even season 4 was more than the seasons before that, and then this one has a couple of scenes that are even crazier. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels a little off. And there is this really good video I'm gonna put it at the top there for you to look at if you want, on just why movies don't feel real anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that was it. I'm not gonna waste more time ranting about this. I think I've said enough. Bye bye. I'm gonna be really excited to see the rest, and maybe I'll do a video on those too, but who knows, maybe I just won't. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you disagree with me or agree with me or just have something else to say.